Good morning, or good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Can I help you? So apparently, somebody would like to be part of the minute I started talking, she came up into my face. Go lay down. Anyway, so corgi interruption. Apparently, there was a corgi in distress over here. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, this is an off-schedule, quick live. I'm not gonna beat this. I have a dog trying to pull my hands off the mouse. Not trying to beat this or I'm telling you, she's just dragging me off to the left here. Um, just a couple of things that are on the radar, kind of in line with what we've been hearing. But I want to show you this video because I find it kind of funny. And thank you, Red, Joe, Loretta. Who else did I miss here? I'm present to class. That's awesome, man. It's the Roaming Red October. I'm telling you. Yeah, no, I am live. Although some can question my sobriety or sanity, I am live. So, yep. Okay, now we've given up. We've now gone to our bed and are now in potato mode. Um, so, I'm going to show you a live video from the Ukraine, right? Because so actually, I'm just going to show you what I was watching today. When I don't know if you guys can see this. Hang on, I'm going to share the screen, and it should put me off to the right. There we go. There we go. Bam. So there were a few things I was following, and I thought, I guess it wouldn't hurt to start with this one. So here's a live picture of the Ukraine. This is Kiev right now, and then you have Jen Psaki, everyone's favorite spokesperson. No, actually, that's the thing, Joe. This guy's not falling. As you can see in the Ukraine, up here in the upper, there is nothing going on. There is a police car here, so apparently Dmitry did try to drive home with his girlfriend Lufthansa, and they got pulled over for a DUI. So the Ukrainian police doing their due diligence. Joe Castro. It is cold here. Right now it is, I don't know, we're 27, so we're still freezing. West Texas is going to get some precip tonight. And oh, really? I did not know that. Okay, I have to admit, some of the members of parliament in Canada really impressed me with the hearings yesterday, because they just beat the crap out of the prime minister, and I just thought it was awesome. Hey, look, God, I feel special. Look at this. I have I already got a bot. That must mean I'm special. I will send him to Shaboba and to Garfram, whatever his name is. Um, so right now, as you can see, Kiev not evacuating. I'll blow that up for you guys. Ta-da. Well, that didn't help. That was the opposite of what I wanted. Okay, so anyway, so you get little Kiev. So right now, really nothing super exciting going on here. Um, oh, now Kiev's all blown up. So they did have some interesting stuff, which is unfortunately what I was predicting. So I guess we'll start with the with our favorite spokesperson here. That let me know if you can hear her.
The administration said the goal of the sanctions is to prevent and deter a wider invasion of Ukraine. If Russia does attack, as U.S. officials are warning that they're imminently prepared to do, does that mean
She
that
looks like
strategy
this is
gets failed?
Peppermint Patty.
Well, I would say as we look at it, we're
grown
focused on
up.
accomplishing two things. One is implementing serious costs for the actions that have already been taken. So the actions in the Donbass, and we've taken steps beyond what we did in 2014, which obviously I just outlined at the beginning of the briefing.
Nice.
Second, yes, deterrence is part
There
of
you
our
go.
objective. If he goes further, we will go further. We have a range of tools at our disposal. I mentioned some of the potential financial steps we could take that could impact financial institutions. That is very significant
Can
and
you hear
could
that?
have a very significant impact. But we have far more options beyond that, including export controls and what export control steps would mean. Russia, as President Putin looks to the future of Russia, there is a lot of access to different industries, technologies that he needs and would rely on in order for the economy to grow and flourish in the future, whether it's AI, whether it's other technological
No.
sectors, biotech, semiconductors, a term we've used a lot in here. And what this would do would essentially cut off access to that. That would also be a significant step. So point is, we have more steps we can take, and we're going to continue to apply those if he escalates.
Thanks, Jen. Given the possibility that an attack seems particularly high today,
So unfortunately, a lot of the financial penalties we're giving Russia may not actually affect them for a year. Other than they did freeze some accounts of some of his personal friends,
let me
but
be very clear. We have been saying for days that Russian military forces are in an attack position. That has
they've
not
been
changed.
saying that for a
They are
hot minute.
capable of operationalizing at any point in time. We are in constant contact with the Ukrainians about their positioning, about their capacity and capabilities. We're not predicting a day, a moment, or an hour. That has been our assessment and what we've been communicating with the Ukrainians for some time now. Let me tell you, though, something else that we're also seeing or assessing right now.
Is it me or does she get angry when they ask her questions?
We believe that President Putin has been implementing over the course of the last several weeks, if not longer. It's clear, and what our assessment is that President Putin did not expect the United States to have the level of information that we have, did not expect us to put out this amount of information that we have put out, did not expect the global community to be as unified, including in how unified the global community was in putting out the sanctions yesterday.
They woke her up from her nap, Red. That's why now she's salty. I will say that by the peasants. I will tell you that and they're way nicer to her than they were to Sarah Huckabee and Kayleigh, not Kayleigh McMuffin, for Christ's sakes, Kayleigh McEnany, you know who I'm talking about. Because they're nice. They treat her with kid gloves. The other day, NBC got after her, and this one turned pretty ugly pretty quick. That's one thing I was impressed by is the intel. It's like they have fire and stinging her. Nice. That's just an image, Joe. That's terrible. I will say the fact that we're broadcasting intel is pretty interesting because it's almost like, Putin's like, no, I'm not doing that. Look over here. And then somebody else is going, no, I see what you're doing. So I don't know if it's actually had a positive effect, but it's interesting how just back away from the BS and just look at how the two sides are doing I'm looking for the word, the propaganda game from the two sides. And the fact that we actually are getting to see the propaganda from both sides is pretty neat. I would have chosen a better spokesperson on our end than Angry Girl over here. But yeah, as you can see from the Ukraine, really nothing happening. Not yet. Now, Kiev is way inside the country, so Russia would probably have to do a hell of a lot of work to go by the time they get to Kiev. Although, if you want to go on a vacation, I bet you can get hotel rates really cheap in the Ukraine right now. Don't know if you want to do that, but it might be fun. This is more what I'm worried about. What are you two doing? All right, here's battle. Oh, they just stopped. There, see, I think that's more combat than we've seen. Oh, look, I got another bot. No, and Red, one of the what is this word that Turdo is walking back? Good. Okay, hey Puddle. Hey Caribbean House, sorry. The chat's kind of jumping on me a little bit. Look. Another liar. How do I get rid of ding dong over here. And away with you. Okay, so there goes the other person. Caribbean House, yeah. We probably need to stop going and poking in there. On the one hand, I get if we have a treaty with like Romania, we want to be supportive of them, but we really don't need to be in the mess here. This is just going to cause a pile of crap. But as you can see, Ukraine is not dead. This is the one that kind of concerns me more is the markets. Let me see if I can get this audio going here. And of course, now the video stops. Seriously. All right, I've had enough of this lady. Goodbye. You may all now applaud. Jen Psaki is gone. Okay. Oh, come on now. There's no audio. Well, this sucks. Okay, well, there's no audio. I don't care about Hang Seng. So, all right, well,
and if one is a believer in that super spike theory, what are the best trades, Jeff, one could put on here? Do you go long oil? Do you go?
Well, that wasn't very nice.
Do you go along aluminum? How do you set this up?
Yeah, we would say oil, copper, aluminum. All of these are the markets that are the most exposed. I just go pure balances. Aluminum is the one that's the most dislocated. Why? We call it the climate paradox. It creates emissions to produce it, plus you need it to solve climate change. And also it's very much exposed to the energy crises that you have going on in Europe and the one that took place in China. So
take a look at that for a second. So palladium, Russia exports about 50%. They also export a significant amount of fertilizer, ammonium nitrate, that kind of stuff. Really, platinum would be the only other one. They're not a big exporter of gold. They can screw with the market with gas and oil. Yeah, I know. I saw that. And they will. They'll sanction. Hey, survivalist. And I saw your note on Instagram. Thank you. Yeah, they. Hey, Donna. So, Raggedy Jen. I don't know. She just looks so mad all the time. This guy looks like someone scared the crap out of him before he came on. I mean, look at his butt. He's got a bit of bug eyes. At least he's
not
awake,
a lot of
right?
supply, a lot of demand. Copper is the strategically most important commodity.
Hey, Van City.
You can't electrify the world without copper, given the restrictions around the periodic table in chemistry. And then in terms of thinking about oil, it's still strategically, it's critical to global economic growth. And we're running out of spare capacity and inventories are low. The way I like to describe the answer to your question, metals are likely to be a better Sharpe ratio. In the end, oil probably give you better returns, but it'll be a rocky road. I like to say, buckle your seatbelt, hang on for the ride. It's not going to be a straight line up. It's probably going to be very volatile.
Yeah, and we've gotten a little bit of a taste of that, haven't we, thus far this year? Jeff, I also wanted to ask you about the sort of inflation hedge that is inherent in some of these trades, which you talk about in your most recent note. And isn't the sort of vicious circle that you get here is that if people get into commodities as an inflation hedge,
I guess where I was going to go with that knucklehead was this is probably going to be what's going to mess with us the most, unless we start cyber hacking each other and doing other stupid things, which, as Red pointed out, we shouldn't be poking at Russia anyway. Containing maybe, but not poking at them, which it seems to be what we're doing. But it's going to be a pricing game, guys. This is where it's going to cause us a lot of issues going forward, is having these supply chain disruptions, again, limited supply of oil and gas. If Putin goes and cuts off cuts off the Europeans. We're going to have to back them up, and it's just going to be a big pain in the butt. And just to make sure Joe is happy, hold on, wait for it. It's thinking. Behold, the Ukraine is still there. I was trying to be a smartass and go, behold, Joe, the Ukraine has not blown up, and then it wouldn't come up. And I was kind of thinking, oh, shit, something happened. But no, it's there. The police are still processing drunken Dmitry over here in the corner. And I don't know. It's kind of nice, actually. It's just kind of a peaceful look for the city. No air raid sirens or anything. Yeah, it's... Yeah, it's kind of quiet in the Ukraine. So yeah, nothing's happened, Joe. But we will double check. We will go back and make sure Ukraine hasn't blown up. And I say that facetiously because, unfortunately, you know, they may actually pop rockets on each other. Now, they did declare a state of emergency. To be fair, I think the Ukrainians probably have a legitimate reason to declare that. I don't think Sparkle McMuffin up in Canada really, whatever the hell you call him, Sparkle. Yeah. Well, that's assuming they don't like blow everything up, right? I mean, they're gonna rule over nothing if they keep provoking shit. Let's see what they got here. See what these two ladies have to say, if there's anything exciting here. Come on now. Sure. There we go. So this is a short video. Let's see what these two have to say. And they have to say nothing. Hold on.
30 days, it will exclude Donetsk and Luhansk, the two Russian-controlled separatist regions Putin has declared independent. Emergency measures have been in place in...
Those are not really big. I mean, granted, they shouldn't be taking other countries' shit, but that's really not a very big section of country to be starting World War III over. I can only imagine they're probably after some ports down here. That would definitely be of interest. Although Russia owns these ports too. Justin Castro. Sparkle bitch. I like that. Anyway, let's see what these guys have to say.
Since 2014.
Meanwhile, Russia is announcing the financial measures it will take to protect itself in light of U.S. sanctions designed to cut Moscow off from Western financing.
Despite all the maneuvering, President Putin says he is still open to, quote, direct and honest dialogue, with the caveat Russia's security concerns are non-negotiable. CBS News' Deborah Alfarone has more from the White House.
Ukraine announced a state of emergency and is mobilizing its National Guard in response to the threat from Russia.
Plan A is to utilize every tool of diplomacy to deter Russia and prevent further escalation. And if that fails, Plan B is to fight for every inch of our land and every city and every village.
The U.S. says Russia continues to send forces into rebel-held areas of eastern Ukraine, and satellite images show the Russian buildup along Ukraine's borders growing, including field hospitals being set up.
Russia's moved supplies of blood and medical equipment into position on their border. You don't need blood unless you plan on starting a war.
President Biden announced the first set of sanctions against Russia, targeting two large Russian banks with ties to the military and cutting the country off from Western financing.
These have been closely coordinated with our allies and partners and will continue to escalate sanctions if Russia escalates.
President Biden warned that the sanctions against Russia will have an impact on Americans, especially at the gas pump.
As we do this, I'm going to take robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions
looks like he's
targeted at the Russian economy, not ours.
Fuel prices are already on the rise, reaching 7-year.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to
of the global
really
supply
cause us
of oil.
a big pain in the ass here in the Western Hemisphere. No, and actually, it's funny you bring that up, survivalists. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that, during World War II, Japan, was starting to expand, and that was more an imperialistic, a nationalistic thing. And the U.S. at the time was one of the major producers, and they sanctioned Japan and cut them off from oil. But what it wound up doing, it had a negative outcome because it made Japan desperate. Right? Then they were like, "Oh shit, we have no oil," so they decided, well, we'll just go invade Korea and the Philippines and take it. And in order to do that, they went and bombed Pearl Harbor to kind of throw us off long enough for them to invade the other areas. So, are we watching history repeat itself, or are these people all stupid and really nothing's going to happen? I don't know. That's an interesting parallel you drew there, though. Putin is laughing at us. He's probably looking. Why is Biden? He has constipated face. And I don't know. That's not very nice. But
and 17%
anyway.
of natural gas supplies. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
And joining us now from Kyiv is CBS News foreign correspondent Charlie D'Agata. Hi, Charlie. So how will
Bill
this
Gates'
state
house,
of emergency
then they're
impact
very
Ukrainians?
upset,
Well, immediately the government has come out and said we're going to try to not impact day-to-day life, and this shouldn't sow panic among Ukrainians. What it is going to do, it's going to curb movement of people around the city and around the north. That's clear. It's going to stop mass gatherings. This will be in place. The state of emergency will be in place for a limited time, 30 days. Their words, it's not going to have a radical impact on our lives. But it comes at a time where Ukrainians have been urged to leave Russia immediately, a time of increased.
Okay, now, did you guys catch that? So the Ukrainian president said, hey, we have an enemy army at our border, right? But that's a legitimate reason to declare an emergency. But he said, we're going to try to minimize the impact on your personal life. We're going to try to let you go about your days. We're going to, put a curfew so we can kind of keep an eye on things. And here you have numbnuts, the truckers are honking at him. And he had police horses trample people in wheelchairs. And these folks are legitimately got tanks at the border. And Frank Harris. Man, I don't know. They can't even see each other. I guess you just get a bat and start swinging and smack the crap out of people. Like the little kids when they have those little helmets and the foam bats. Just bat the crap out of each other. Hey, Arkansas, no nukes. No, or we'll hack them, they hack us, and then we break the damn internet, and then the whole world is back to 1850. See, in like 5 years, yeah, no kidding. It just, is it me, or these people are in a war zone and the president's like, well, we'll have an emergency, we'll have some curfews, but go to the store, no big gatherings, but you can go about, see your family, take care of business. And McMuffin up there is telling people you have to wear your mask. The truckers honked at me and my butt hurts. Y'all need to be rid of that man in Canada. Like, for real. He's pretty useless. Just 14 days. All right, so let's see what else this knucklehead has to say.
It will change things along the border. There will be checkpoints. They'll be checking IDs closer to the Belarusian border. It will not, and this is important, none of that will mean martial law or imposing any areas in Donbass, in the Donbass region. So these contested regions in Luhansk and Donetsk, they have no intention of upping any kind of either police patrols or military guard there in order to avoid any provocation of Russian-backed separatists or what may be Russian forces themselves, this peacekeeping force that may be moving into that territory if they haven't already.
Charlie, we know there are lots of sanctions coming at Russia. The Kremlin says these sanctions won't only hurt them, but the countries imposing them. For Americans and its allies, what could that mean?
Well, sanctions are always a two-way street. If you say that we are no longer going to be trading with you, or we're going to hurt you in terms of not allowing any financial transactions to take place, or taking away the money of the oligarchs, there are ways that they can punish. We've already seen fuel prices go up. And it's not just because of what's happening here in terms of the instability and the fact that we may be on the verge of a huge military aggression from Russia into Ukraine itself, but it's because of these sanctions, because the way the money.
So, yeah, pretty much this puffery, what it's going to do is cause more inflation. And it's going to happen in both countries. I don't know what they're trying to break shit on purpose, but yeah, that's pretty much they're really not accomplishing very much at the moment. And even the analysts have said anything we do now to sanction Russia is not really going to hurt them until 6 months, a year from now. So, oh yeah, no, well, right, and you would think, yeah, that'll go up in price, that's for sure. Right, you would think, Russia, this guy's Putin's a chess player, right? He probably said, okay, we're going to do this. NATO's going to wuss out, and they're going to sanction us. And what are they going to do? Okay, so Vasily, Dmitry, Anastasia, all of your bank accounts are going to get frozen. Don't worry, we got you covered. We're just going to reroute oil revenue to you because we're going to spike the price of oil while we screw with the Americans. They had to have scenario played all this, right? I feel like the Russians are kind of playing these little chess games, and NATO is like the kid playing checkers who keeps grabbing the wrong colored pieces on the board. Oh, and we're going to do the Joe check of Ukraine. Hold on. And Joe, the Ukrainians are still there, man. We were thinking no, but there they are. That one police car has been there for a hot minute. I wonder how many drunks he's collected by now. Maybe that's that paddy wagon like you see in New Orleans, the little van that comes up and all the drunks are like on the floor and they just open and the cops just start dumping the drunks in there. And then it rolls really slowly to the drunk tank on Poydras Street. Yeah. It is. Well, Pickle boy. Pickle plays checkers. Absolutely. And Red spot on. They would not have failed to scenario play this, okay? Because this is right out of a textbook. Oh, we don't like what you did. You're a bad person. We will sanction you. They do it over and over. And that's great. It's the first step, but this isn't a third world country. This is freaking Russia. They're not stupid. They're probably sitting there going, okay, so what are they going to sanction? And they kind of made scenarios A through F. And they're like, okay, let's see what they announce. And Angry Jen Psaki just said they're going to do this. Okay, that's scenario E. So, okay, this is how we respond. They've already got their game book out. Yes. Red, find Survivalist on Insta. He has great posts, by the way, and he's also here in Texas. So yeah, I mean the price will go up, but it's hard to get it anyway. We have to get it somewhere else. What's funny is if Argentina makes it and sends it here, that's okay. But not Russia, because we don't like them this week. Yeah, no, the drunk police truck is here. Really? Okay, so everybody take a good look. This is a Ukrainian lockdown with a foreign army at their border versus what we saw from Sparkle Socks. So I really think I got to give credit to the Ukrainians because they're kind of getting pinched in between NATO and Russia, and they can't be happy right now, right? They're just squishing. And they're going about business. I mean, look at them. There are people I don't know what store this is in the corner here, but this shit's been busy. There have been people coming in and out of there. There's got some TV screens, probably a bar. Oh, there's another police car. See, they got Dimitri's friend over here, and they arrested his ass for running around naked. So see, normal world problems. Metric gun fruit. Yeah, look at the traffic, so calm right now. I mean, look at that. I mean, again, this aside from the police car pulled over the drunks. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. They hadn't blown anything up. Ukraine's still there. You know, we just wanted to be sure. But lo and behold, Ukraine's still there. So what you're going to hear, and it's going to repeat itself, is we're going to get hit on the and I'm gonna cut this live a little short today, but I just wanted to throw that out there. We're hearing it from everywhere. The supply chain is going to get a hit. We're not going to see the effect maybe for another week or two. We're seeing it in gas and oil right away, but it's yeah, I would be yeah. Well, I'd love for them to talk about the child trafficking in Texas, which has become an absolute disaster. And they're kidnapping American girls and bringing them south, and they're kidnapping little Mexican girls and bringing them here. And that's a massive trade, almost as big as drugs, and nowhere on the news. They're worried about, angry redhead in Washington and some schmuck in Europe who's being a pendejo and arguing with the guy next door. As Red quaintly said further up, we need to fix home. And unless it's an imminent threat to us, is he in the cop car? I don't know if Igor is in the cop car, but I think Dimitri got arrested and Anatoly was running naked and they busted him with that other patrol car right by that little bar on the right side. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Heroic? So yeah, and by the way, survivalist, that's something. What's going on, James? Yeah, that's something we're going to. I need to talk to a few folks and see. I want to get Northern Girl's been dealing with the convoys up north, but she's been very much an advocate to help the human trafficking victims. And I need to reach out to some folks here because that's a massive, ugly problem here in Texas, and I think it's something that we probably need to address. But they're stocking up on adrenochrome. Yeah. So yeah. So right now, again, it's going to be the gas. It's they're banging drums that just it would not make sense. And I know Joe and Red and a few of you guys have said it. I've said it. Getting into a full-scale ground war would not make sense. I mean, we all know Russia would win, but it wouldn't be completely lopsided. Ukraine's trained up enough to they won't win, but it'll be very painful. And that's going to suck domestically, right? Because Putin goes and creates some stupid war and kills, 10,000 young Russians, and the families are going to flip out at home. He's got a plan here. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I could be totally wrong. He might just go guns blazing into Ukraine. I think he's after something else. There's something else going on. I can't put my finger on it. And the media's all fascinated with Jen Psaki, and she tells me nothing of value. So, yeah. And yeah. And we should be doing that anyway. If the last 48 months didn't teach us anything, it's things can happen. Yes, they do. They do have remote control tanks, little ones. They have one fat one that apparently deploys equipment for soldiers. Like it looks like the damn tank that Jawas had in Star Wars, but smaller. And it just rolls up to where the infantry is and the sides open, and like equipment or ammo just comes out, and then it closes and it drives away. And then the guys grab their ammo. So yeah. Now, Frank, that's an interesting point, because earlier, and let me see if I can find that, because that would be a great talking point. Earlier, China actually said that we respect Russia's right to the Ukraine, much like our right to Taiwan. So China's kind of, I wonder if that's going to be the problem 6 months from now, not this Ukraine crap. But again, we don't know. I do know price of the inflationary effect is hitting you, so definitely make sure your tanks are full. We're getting into the damn what do you call, hurricane season in a couple of months anyway. So you guys should definitely be looking at that. Let's see. Let's see. China, Taiwan. I know I saw the video here. Oh, that's interesting. China says Taiwan is not the Ukraine. Okay, I bite. Let's see what this person says. Okay, so let's share this one real quick before I call it quits here. UPS drove straight by, so they only get one bark today. All right, so this lady has something to say. Let's see. No sound? All right, let me try that again. Let me try that again, guys. Share screen. All right, this should have sound. Bear with me.
Government is that we believe that sanctions are never a fundamental and effective way to solve the problem, and China has always opposed any illegal unilateral sanctions. We hope that the relevant parties can seriously think about it. I think we should try our best to solve the problem through dialogue and consultation. I would also like to point out that the unilateral and illegal sanctions imposed by some countries, such as the United States, have caused serious difficulties to the economy and people's livelihood in the relevant countries. The US must not harm the legitimate rights and interests of China and other parties when dealing with the Ukraine issue and its relations with Russia. I think it is unwise for the Taiwan authorities and certain people to take advantage of the Ukraine issue as a hot topic. Taiwan is indeed not Ukraine. Taiwan has always been an inseparable part of China's territory. This is an irrefutable historical and legal fact. The One China principle is a recognized norm in international relations. Peace in the Taiwan region depends on the peaceful development of cross-strait relations, rather than begging for mercy and relying on external forces to sell weapons or provide military support. Taiwan independence will only be a dead end, and no one should have any misunderstanding or misjudgment in this regard.
Huh. So, yeah, or more bourbon, depending on what your medication of choice is. But yeah, Joe. Yeah, they yeah, they're China's basically saying, well, it's different because Ukraine was kind of ethnically and culturally different. But by the way, Taiwan, we have a historical tie to that island. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. But one last thing, Putin did say he will go after critical infrastructure. I'm trying to remember. Go after. Delicate target, something like that. It was very specifically, and I can't find it now. I have to post it later. But basically, he said he's going to, and hopefully so. It could just be a big geopolitical push to just kind of shuffle boundaries a few hundred miles left and right. But yeah, Taiwan is a manufacturing hub, and that would be a big problem for us. But yeah, folks, Putin said in response to the sanctions, he would target with military and technical responses. Now, one would assume military would be technical, right? I mean, you have vehicles and tanks and whatnot. So it kind of makes you wonder if he's kind of talking the cyber warfare. And I think Red and a few others were pointing out that possibility earlier. That'll probably cause a way more shit than dropping missiles on anyone, because they're very easy to deny. Well, we didn't do it. It was so-and-so over in Sweden, and you kind of go away. Yeah, it's a lot of chips, which would make China very happy to get their hands on that for sure. So, yeah, gang, right now, once again, our Ukraine watch and I did show the video, so Joe and I are both sure that the Ukraine is still there. And Red, you saw it too. It is still there unless that's on loop and we're in the Matrix. But yeah, and the people look like they're just going about their business, so yeah. If you want to upgrade to get close to our technology, that would be a great place to take over. So yeah, definitely. But guys, keep an eye out on Putin's response, because I thought that was interesting. 3 days ago, he said a military and technical response. And today, he stated that he would respond by targeting critical items for the West. Not, I'm going to bomb the shit out of you. Critical items. So, Bug Dude, yeah, I think Igor got arrested, man. In that little bar in Kiev, the one on the right side of the screen, I think he got busted because there was a new police car there. But yeah, it's you don't know. It's right now. It seems like a lot of puffery, and hopefully it stays that way. Unfortunately, you could leave it to world leaders to screw up whatever they're doing. So, and we all wind up suffering for it. So, guys, just make sure you have what you need. I mean, that's just the bottom line of it. Yeah, that well, they did hack the Colonial Pipeline, which is ironic because Red, on our end of the spectrum, we had the gas and oil. We couldn't get it to the East Coast, and that freaked out like Tennessee and all those states over there got absolutely screwed up. But here in Texas, we were zooming around in circles and we were fine. So, yeah, it's that any one of those, actually, even if they just took the banks offline, or knocked out multiple pipelines at once, that would really screw things up. The one good thing about the Texas grid is it is so ancient that they may not be able to hack it because the computers don't work right. So maybe that's working in our favor over here. But guys, keep an eye out for that kind of stuff. It's going to be very gray, vague stuff being done back and forth. But in sanctioning them, we're hurting ourselves as well. So it's going to become a waiting game. Who gets pissed off first? I'm guessing Putin's going to be pretty patient. But yeah, folks, just keep doing that, doing what you're doing. And really nothing major's popped off. They've had a few, skirmishes, but Ukraine kind of left those two provinces alone, which is probably smart. They're like, look, if we go in there, we're going to escalate. We're just going to back up, make a new defensive line, and sit here. So it kind of takes some of the wind out of Putin's sail, because he can't say, oh, they're provoking me, because technically they retreated and now they took a new position. So we'll see what he comes up with. I mean, it's just really interesting watching the interplay between East and West. We haven't seen this shit since the Cold War, and Putin's good at it. So yeah, just watch that stuff. It's interesting. It's certainly a learning experience. But you guys take care. I'm gonna let you all go. You be careful out there. And Red, Survival U, all you guys in Texas, we are getting freezing precipitation in the next 36 hours. It may be more or less depending on where you live. So watch the roads, please. And then you guys north of us, northeast, like Oklahoma, Arkansas, going that way, you guys are going to get some freezing rain and snow again. So watch those roads, man. Be careful, y'all. Be safe on the roads. You have way more chance of getting hurt on the highway than by a Russian missile or, a drunk Ukrainian. So you guys be good. We'll see you later.